Today, I want to talk to you about a topic that touches the very core of our existence time. How many of us have looked back and felt that we wasted precious years, months, or even days? Time we wish we could reclaim, moments we regret, seasons we think are lost forever. But here's the truth: God has a way of restoring those wasted years. Yes, you heard me right. Your years are not lost. They are seeds planted in the soil of God's timing, waiting to spring forth into a harvest you can't yet see. And if you stay with me, I want to reveal to you why you should never give up hope and why, even now, God is working to bring back what you thought was gone. Let me tell you, the beauty of God's restoration is that it doesn't just restore you to where you were, it takes you further than you could ever imagine. He doesn't simply make things as they once were, He makes them better, fuller, richer. You see, God knows the desires of your heart. He sees the time you feel you lost, the energy you wasted, the moments you can never get back. But the truth is, God's way of restoration goes beyond simply replacing what was taken or lost. He multiplies it. He takes those broken pieces and creates something magnificent, something that carries more value, more purpose, and more joy than you could have known before. In the Bible, we read about the prophet Joel, who told the people of Israel that God would restore the years that the locust has eaten. The locust had devoured everything in its path, and the people were left with nothing but barren fields and empty hands. They had lost so much, but God promised to restore them, not just with a simple return, but with a multiplied blessing. So if you feel like the locusts have eaten away your years, remember this: God's promise still stands. He can restore everything you thought was gone. And not only restore, but He will give you double for your trouble. He will pour out blessings that will cause you to say, "Thank God I didn't give up. Thank God I didn't let worry rob me of my faith." Friends, your wasted years are not wasted in God's eyes. He has been with you through every season, and He's still working to bring you into the fullness of His promises. Don't worry about what you cannot change. Instead, trust in the God who holds all time in His hands and knows how to give back to you what you've lost with interest. So I urge you today, hold on to your faith. Let go of the worry. Stop looking back with regret and start looking forward with expectation. The God who redeems time is with you. The God who restores what was wasted is already preparing your future. And when He restores, you'll find that every lost moment has only paved the way for a glorious comeback. Stay with me as we dive deeper into how you can embrace God's promise and unlock the restoration waiting for you. This is a message of hope, a message of faith, and a message that will renew your spirit. God is the master of turning ashes into beauty, and your time is not over. It's just beginning. So let's walk this journey together and discover the fullness of life that God has prepared for you. Don't worry, He will restore all that was lost, and you'll stand in awe of His power. When it comes to God's restoration, there are no limits. You might look at your past and think about all the time you've lost, the missed opportunities, or the mistakes you made. You might feel as if it's too late, as if you'll never be able to recover what's gone. But here's the truth: God's ability to restore goes far beyond human understanding. He doesn't operate within the boundaries of time and space as we do. He's not limited by what has passed or what seems irretrievable. In God's hands, nothing is ever wasted. He can take the most broken, seemingly lost moments of our lives and transform them into something beautiful. He is the Creator, the one who makes all things new. So when He says He can restore your wasted years, He means that in ways you may not even be able to imagine right now. I think of it like a master artist who takes an old, discarded piece of clay and molds it into a breathtaking sculpture. What others see as worthless, He sees as a masterpiece in the making. God's restoration is not just about giving back what was lost. It's about bringing forth a version of your life that is fuller, richer, and more complete than it ever was before. He multiplies what was taken, and He adds value where there seemed to be none. So don't limit what God can do based on your understanding. Trust that His restoration knows no boundaries and that He can bring back every lost year with a purpose that goes beyond your wildest dreams. In life, we often find ourselves going through different seasons. Some of them are filled with joy and growth, while others may seem empty, challenging, or even wasted. But here's what you need to understand: God is the one who set these seasons in place, and He has a purpose for every single one of them. Even those seasons that seem barren or fruitless serve a vital role in His grand design. Each season of your life is like a chapter in a larger story that God is writing. Just because one season may not have gone the way you expected, it doesn't mean that God isn't working. Often it's in the quiet, seemingly dormant seasons that He does some of His most profound work within us. These are the times when He's preparing the soil of your heart, planting seeds that will grow in due time. It may feel as though you're standing still, but God is laying the foundation for something greater. Trust that the season you're in right now is not without purpose. God is a master planner. He knows how to use every moment, both good and bad, to shape you and prepare you for the blessings ahead. Instead of worrying about the time you feel you've lost, focus on the fact that God's timing is perfect. He's never late, and He knows exactly when the season will shift. Your current season is setting the stage for a harvest beyond anything you can imagine. God's promise of renewal goes beyond what we can comprehend. When He says He will restore, He doesn't just intend to mend or repair. No, His restoration is about transformation. He takes what has been broken, lost, or wasted and breathes new life into it, turning it into something far greater than it was before. Imagine this: a broken piece of pottery in the hands of a skilled artist. The artist doesn't just glue the pieces back together to make it as it once was. Instead, he uses those fragments to create something new, a masterpiece with its own unique beauty and strength, something even more precious because of its scars. That's what God does with our lives. When God restores, He doesn't simply return what was lost, He adds value and multiplies the blessings. He renews our spirits, fills us with hope, and brings us to a place where we're stronger, wiser, and more resilient than before. His renewal means that the years that felt empty or wasted will now overflow with purpose and abundance. So trust in His promise. Know that God is not only able to restore, but also to bring a renewal that transforms your entire life, making it more beautiful and complete than you ever thought possible. Letting go of regret is crucial if you want to experience God's restoration. When we hold on to regret, we bind ourselves to the past, to the mistakes and missed opportunities, and to the time we think we've wasted. But regret is like carrying a heavy weight. It slows you down, it clouds your vision, and it prevents you from seeing the new things God wants to do in your life. God is calling you to release that weight, to let go of what you cannot change, and to surrender those regrets to Him. He knows every mistake, every failure, and every missed opportunity, and yet He still has a plan to restore and redeem. Holding on to regret is like refusing to open your hands, making it impossible to receive the blessings God has for you now. When you let go of regret, you create space for God to work. You allow His grace to flow into your life, to heal old wounds, and to bring about a new beginning. God doesn't want you to be stuck in what could have been. He wants you to focus on what can be. By releasing your regret, you're saying, God, I trust You to make something beautiful out of my brokenness. And when you do that, you open the door for God to restore in ways that will exceed all you could have imagined. God's timing is flawless, and it's essential to trust in His divine schedule. Often we look back at our lives and wish things had happened differently, or we feel that certain years were simply wasted. But remember, God sees the bigger picture. He knows precisely when to bring things into your life and when to allow certain seasons to pass. What may seem like a delay or a waste to us is actually a part of His perfect timing. God uses every moment, both the highs and the lows, to prepare us for what's next. Sometimes He allows us to go through seasons that seem unproductive or stagnant because He is working on us from the inside out. He's shaping our character, strengthening our faith, and positioning us for greater things. God is never in a hurry, but He is always on time. He knows when we're ready to step into the next season, and He knows the exact moment to release the blessings He's been preparing. So don't despair over time that feels lost. Instead, place your trust in the one who controls time itself. God has a unique timetable for each of us, and his plans are always worth the wait. He is aligning everything for your good. And when his timing comes to fruition, you'll see that not a single moment was wasted. Trust in his timing, and you'll discover that the season of restoration is far better than anything you could have planned on your own. When God restores, he doesn't just give back what was lost, he adds value to it. His restoration goes beyond simply returning things to their previous state. He enhances, multiplies, and enriches what was once broken or lost. God's power of restoration takes the empty, barren places in our lives and fills them with a purpose and abundance we couldn't have imagined. Imagine a farmer who plants seeds in a field that's been barren for years. When the harvest finally comes, it's not just an ordinary crop. It's a bountiful, overflowing harvest that far exceeds what was expected. That's how God works. He doesn't just bring things back to the way they were, he makes them better, stronger, and more fruitful than before. His restoration is not about just getting back to where you were, it's about elevating you to a place you've never been. God's restoration adds layers of growth, wisdom, and strength that weren't there before. He takes the painful, wasted seasons and infuses them with new meaning and significance. When God restores, you don't just recover, you gain something far greater than what you lost. You receive a new level of joy, resilience, and faith that will carry you through anything life throws your way. So trust that God's restoration will not only heal, but also transform, giving you far more than you ever thought possible. Your faith plays a crucial role in God's restoration process. Without faith, it's easy to feel defeated or to believe that nothing can change. But faith is what activates God's promises in your life. It's the foundation upon which he builds his work of restoration. By choosing to believe in his ability to restore, even when things seem hopeless, you open the door for God to move in powerful ways. Faith allows you to see beyond your current circumstances and to trust that God is working, even when you can't see it. It's the anchor that keeps you steady in the storm, the light that guides you when the path is dark. When you stand in faith, you're declaring that God's promises are more significant than your past mistakes, more substantial than your wasted years, and more powerful than anything you've lost. Remember, God honors your faith. When you believe in his power to restore, you position yourself to receive all that he has in store for you. Faith transforms your perspective, helping you to see your challenges as opportunities for God to show his strength. So hold on to your faith, even when it feels hard, because it is through your faith that God will bring about restoration and renewal. Trust that he can and will turn things around in ways that go beyond anything you can ask or imagine. God's restoration often begins with a renewed mindset. The way you think about your past, your circumstances, and your future can either limit or unleash God's power in your life. When you choose to embrace a mindset of hope, trust, and expectation, you align yourself with what God is trying to do. Transformation starts in your mind. It's where God plants the seeds of new possibilities and where his promises take root. Think about this. If you continue to see yourself as defeated or bound by past mistakes, it becomes difficult to move forward. But when you begin to see yourself as God sees you worthy, loved, and full of potential, everything changes. God wants you to renew your mind daily, to let go of thoughts that don't serve his purpose for you, and to adopt a mindset that believes in restoration, no matter what. By renewing your mind, you're giving God the space to work. You're allowing him to replace thoughts of regret, fear, and doubt with thoughts of faith, hope, and love. This mindset shift enables you to anticipate God's goodness and to see opportunities for growth, even in the most challenging situations. So embrace a new way of thinking. Let God transform your mind and watch how it changes every other part of your life, bringing his restoration and blessings to full fruition. One of the most beautiful aspects of God's restoration is that it often comes with a fresh purpose. When God restores what was lost, he doesn't just give it back to you in the same way he repurposes it for something greater. Every experience, every struggle, and every setback you faced is woven into a new mission that God has for your life. He turns your pain into power and your past into a platform for growth. God has a way of using the very things that seem to hold you back to propel you forward. What once felt like wasted years can become the foundation for a renewed calling. He doesn't just want to restore what you lost, He wants to give it back to you with a deeper sense of meaning and direction. In God's hands, even the most broken parts of your life can become tools for His purpose. So embrace this fresh purpose that God is giving you. Look for ways to use your experiences to help others, to inspire change, and to make a difference. God is not only restoring what you lost, but He is also redirecting it in a way that will bring greater impact and fulfillment than you ever thought possible. Trust in this new purpose and know that your life has meaning beyond the setbacks and struggles. God is leading you into a season where every piece of your journey will serve a greater plan. Ultimately, God's restoration is a journey, and it requires patience and perseverance. We live in a world that often seeks instant gratification, but God's restoration process takes time. It's a gradual unfolding of His plans and purposes in your life, and it demands that you remain steadfast in your faith. Throughout this journey, you may face challenges and moments of doubt. There may be times when it feels as if nothing is changing or that your situation is still bleak. However, it's crucial to remember that God is working behind the scenes, crafting a beautiful tapestry out of your life, even when you can't see the entire picture. Your role is to continue to trust, to hold on to hope, and to keep moving forward even when the path is unclear. Each step you take in faith brings you closer to the restoration He has promised. Embrace the process, knowing that every challenge is refining you, every setback is preparing you, and every moment of waiting is part of God's perfect plan. As you journey through this process, stay engaged in prayer, immerse yourself in His Word, and surround yourself with a community of believers who can encourage you. God's restoration is coming, and when it arrives, it will be worth every moment of waiting. Remember, it's not just about reaching the destination, but about what you become along the way. Trusting God's timing, lean into His promises, and allow Him to lead you into a renewed and restored life filled with purpose and abundance.